Dear students, today we will study about histamine. In this session, we will study about its occurrence, its synthesis, mechanism of action, and pharmacological actions of histamine. So, let us start with histamine. Histamine is one of the biogenic compounds present in our body. It is present in the various types of tissues in human body. It has both physiologic as well as pathological functions because it is one of the autocoids. First, we will study about its occurrence. Occurrence. We will first study where it is found in our body and in which tissues it is mostly found. It's mostly found in the biological fluids like platelets, leukocytes, and mast cells. It is also found in lungs and gastrointestinal mucosa. Outside the human body, it is found in venoms of wasps and bees. So, histamine is mostly found in platelets, leukocytes, and mast cells, lungs, and gastrointestinal mucosa. Outside the human body, it is found in the venoms of wasps and bees. This was the occurrence. Now, we will study about its synthesis. How do we get histamine? Histamine is obtained in human body from an amino acid that is histidine. Histidine is one of the amino acids present in the body. This histidine undergoes decarboxylation reaction. It undergoes decarboxylation reaction which results in the formation of histamine. Histidine undergoes decarboxylation reaction which results in the formation of histamine. This reaction is catalyzed by an enzyme that is called histidine decarboxylase. Histidine decarboxylase. So, humans get this histamine from an amino acid which is present in their body that's called as histidine. Histidine undergoes decarboxylation reaction in presence of an enzyme decarboxylase which results in the formation of histamine. This was the synthesis of the histidine. Now coming to the mechanism of action of histamine. Histamine performs its action by means of two types of receptors. This is mechanism of action. It performs its action by stimulating two types of receptors, that is H1 receptor and H2 receptors. When H1 receptor gets stimulated, it results in the contraction of the smooth muscles. Contraction of smooth muscles. The smooth muscles present in our body get contracted with the effect of histamine. But it causes this contraction is due to the stimulation of H1 receptors. Whereas when H2 receptors get stimulated, it causes increase in gastric acid secretion. Gastric acid secretion. So, histamine performs its action by means of H1 receptors and H2 receptors. H1 receptor causes contraction of the smooth muscles and H2 receptor causes increase in the gastric acid secretion. H1 receptor also causes increase in the vascular permeability. By vascular permeability, we mean that vessel walls become more permeable to the substances. They allow the substances to move in and out of their walls due to the effect of the H1 receptor stimulation. So, this was the mechanism of the histamine. Now coming to the pharmacological actions of histamine. Pharmacological actions. Pharmacological actions of histamine. Number first, we will first see its effect on the blood vessels. Blood vessels. Histamine shows its effect on the blood vessels. Depending upon the species, it causes vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction. It causes vasoconstriction in rats and rabbits, while as it causes vasodilatation. Vasodilatation. It causes vasodilatation in man. This is the effect of histamine on blood vessels. In rats and rabbits, it causes vasoconstriction, while as in man, it causes vasodilatation. This vasodilatation is associated with the throbbing head pain. Throbbing head pain or headache. Histamine causes throbbing headache. Why throbbing headache? Because it causes stretching of the nerve endings around the cranial arteries. Cranial arteries, the nerves which are present around the cranial arteries get stretched due to the effect of histamine, which results in the sensation of the throbbing headache. Next is on blood pressure. Next pharmacological action is on blood pressure. Blood pressure. At moderate doses, it causes transient hypotension. Transient hypotension. Hypotension. At moderate doses, it causes hypotension because it causes a dilatation of the blood vessels, which results in the decrease in the blood pressure, which we called as an hypotension. But at moderate doses, this hypotension is observed as transient. That is, it remains for a short period of time. But at higher doses, it causes prolonged hypotension. Hypotension. And this hypotension can lead even to death of a person if remained unattended. So, at moderate doses, it causes hypotension, which is of short period of time, that we call as transient hypotension. But the same histamine causes prolonged hypotension at higher doses. This was the effect on the blood pressure. Now, third pharmacological action is its triple response. Triple response. Triple response is observed on the skin. It was Lewis who observed that on intradermal injection of histamine, it causes 3 types of responses, that is called as flush. What is flush? Flush is the redness at the spot of administration. Redness at the spot of administration. This flush is the marked redness which is observed at the spot of administration, and this flush develops within 1 minute. Within 1 minute. This flush is followed by bluish discoloration. Bluish discoloration. Discoloration, which is due to the dilatation of the capillaries, which is due to the dilatation of the arteries and capillaries, which results to the bluish color. Next, this flush is followed by the flare. This flush is followed by flare. What is flare? Flare is the redness which spreads around the flush up to about 1 to 5 centimeters. And this starts developing within 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes. This is also redness, but it is of irregular in outline. Irregular in outline. So flush is followed by the flare, which spreads up to the 5 centimeters and remains for about 10 minutes. And this is irregular in outline. This is the irregular redness which is observed around the flush. This is followed by the wheal. Third is the wheal. Wheal is the edema which is observed on this portion. This wheal is due to the leakage of the capillaries. Leakage of capillaries. Capillaries. This wheal is due to the leakage of the substances from the capillary walls, which results in the formation of the edema. This is the triple response performed by the histamine. Now, next pharmacological action is on smooth muscles. Third, smooth muscles. On smooth muscles, it causes contraction of intestines and bronchioles. Contraction of intestines and bronchioles. So on smooth muscles, its effect has been observed as contraction of intestines and bronchioles. For further details, we will meet in next session. Thank you.